What's up, everybody? Well, I got another Asus Ally gameplay video for you guys today, and today we're gonna check out Burglin Gnomes. Now, the Steam Deck was barely playable if you turned it down to low and turned the grass off, which kind of made it lame. So hopefully we can come up with something with one of the systems where we don't have to just resort to that, but it might just be a harder to run game than it looks. That does happen to me all the time. I thought this would honestly be able to, not at high anyway, but maybe on low hit 60. Plus, but nope. Some places it can, but most of the time it was not. So let's see what we can go ahead and do with these. And unfortunately, as I'm sure you've noticed, my new case that I got is too big. I can't even do my cool little setup I used to do with these guys where I had the two old ones in a V and the new one in the middle. But hey, whatever, this still works. You can still see all the allies, just not perfectly. But either way, why don't we get into some gameplay? So, we'll start off at 1080p high, which isn't the greatest experience, but it's still slightly better than the Steam Decks, but not by much. Although, it does a lot better than the Steam Decks do at high. But once we drop it down to low and everything, you'd expect this thing to just steamroll the Steam Deck, but since the Steam Deck's going at lower resolution and everything, it wasn't a blowout. I think this thing won by like 10 FPS or something like that. Still better, though. But anyway, let's go jump in and see what it can do. So now we'll drop it down to 900p. Medium texture. The other two are either basically off or low, so I figured, alright, well, I'll just leave those on high. I probably should have turned volumetric fog off, though. Usually anything almost with the word volumetric kills your FPS. Not always by a lot, but fog and clouds usually are not great. So maybe we could have gotten like 3, 4, 5 FPS by turning that off. But hey, let's go see what it can do either way. So now for some 720p low, which gets you the most FPS. Not 60 plus everywhere by any means, but it at least keeps you over 30, all besides when you're jumping down into the actual world you're going to be from the little rock that you start off on in the sky. That tornado thing always lags on pretty much everything I've tested. I mean, the small form factor PCs seem to handle it best, but even it dropped frames a lot. But anyway, let's go see what this can do. So, we'll go ahead and do some 1080p high on the Ally X now. Still not like it does a fantastic job, but it might do slightly better here than the other one, but I still don't think it was quite hitting the VRAM limit of that other one. But I think it needed a little more system RAM though, so this might still be a little smoother frame times, but it's still not like it's going to be a playable experience on high, for most. For some, but not for most. But hey, let's jump in and see anyway. Now we'll drop it down to RP medium. Really the only thing I could put on medium though is texture. And like I said before, I should have turned volumetric fog off for the medium. But whatever, we left it on, so I left it on all of them. I didn't want to invalidate the tests. I think the one thing I messed up on is I think on one of them I accidentally left it on like borderless for the first one or two tests and then changed it to full screen later. But regardless, let's jump into the game. Alright, now we're going to drop it down to 720p here on the Ally X, and this gets you the most FPS. It's not a great amount of FPS, but by golly, it's the most you're going to get, it seems. Although, I did notice on some of the other computers, turning it to borderless did seem to get you more FPS, so I guess that is kind of a lie. You could probably get a few more if you put it to borderless, but at the same time, since the rest were full screen, I figured let's try to keep all the rest the same. I mean, I think that's fair, right? Either way, let's jump back to the game. So now we're going to do 1080p one more time here. See, I caught myself there. Almost did borderless again, but I think I didn't catch myself on one of the other systems. But we're going to do 1080p high, full screen, just like we did on the rest of the systems. This one does do a little bit better, but it's still not like, oh my god, this is the most playable experience. But it does seem to get like 8 to 10 FPS more in certain spots. Not really much more FPS in others, though. It just seems to be the way this game is. I figured it was going to get like 100 and something FPS like some of the others that look like this. That's why I do these tests. So let's jump in. So now for non-RP medium settings. And it does get a little bit more FPS here. I think the other one's even just right here in the same kind of place. We're getting like 44 FPS in the same menu. So not quite 10 FPS, but like 8, something like that. Either way, let's jump back on the game. Let's see what the Xbox Ally X can do. And then we'll move on to low. And then, of course, camera recorded gameplay at the very end. So last up here before the camera record portion, we'll do a little 720p. And this one does hit 60 plus sometimes. There's some circumstances I think I still saw it dropping under though. But for the most part, it does seem to average around 60 finally. But you have to have everything low and grass disabled and all that shit to do it, so not exactly the greatest experience, but still the best out of all the handhelds so far. Though I still think there's quite a few out there that are more powerful than this. But for $1,000, it's a pretty good bargain compared to everything else nowadays, especially the Steam Deck at $900. Alright, let's get some camera recorded gameplay. You're timed on other things, so figured since I was so close to the end, might as well just restart. And I wanted to see if it still dropped under 30, and yes it does. Just for the loading and stuff like that. Now, does it when we're dropping through the sky? Oh, these appear to be good now. Unfortunately, we're still not going to hit no 60 FPS or anything like that. Alright, what are we supposed to do? Flush an item down the toilet. Put something in the blender. How the heck do you get that Jonathan guy out of his hut, I wonder? Alright, and nothing else got turned back up to high or anything like that, right? Low, no. I mean, it has a potato setting, but even the Steam Deck didn't really get any benefit from that, so I doubt this would either. Alright, so now we're in. And we gotta open a window twice. I don't hear anybody walking around yet, so. thought I heard him coming. Must have just been hearing shit. Gotta be stealthy. See, that's a great place to hide. I doubt he'd ever notice me here. Can't climb up there. There we go, I was gonna say. Alright. Coming? I hear it creaking. Is he just like jamming over here? Oh. Okay. Anyway, I guess with that, let's move on to the next ally. Don't know what the hell happened there. Maybe I was over my time limit or something. Alright, let's get ourselves a little camera recorded gameplay on the X now. Alright, what is on the agenda? Kill a roach, steal a pot. The Roomba. So far, he's never seen me under the bed. Doesn't mean he can't, but... Of course there's no roaches. I wanted to try killing them with this thing. I keep breaking my legs. Can't far too far. Gnomes aren't exactly very small. Or large. They're very small. Alright, at least we can regrow our legs. That's at least nice. It would suck if we were just screwed after our legs get broken. Oh, not you again. Alright, I don't think that thing can come up here at least. But unfortunately, there's not a whole lot to do. I don't think we can just open his door. That would be hilarious. Nah. There we go. Did you see me? Where did he go? I think he went out that door, didn't he? Now, you probably don't want to get sucked up by the Roomba either. That would not be good. I'm going to go this way, though. If he went that way, he'll probably come back. There's a brooch, of course, now that I don't have my weapon. Alright, well anyway, I'm probably almost out of time anyway, so why don't we go ahead and wrap this video on up. Well, not wrap up, but move on to the next ally. I forgot, we're only on the X. We still have the Xbox Ally X to do after all. Alright, let's get some cam-recorded gameplay. I figured we had I think it said 3 minutes left. Oh, more on fire. So, experiment number 1. I am not fireproof. I'm not a fireproof gnome. Does this guy just kill me if I go in here? Alright, anyway, enough farting around. Let's start that game and see what kind of performance we get. So far, this has been the only one on the lowest settings that have given somewhat acceptable FPS. At least for me, I like around 60 if I can help it. Most of the other things are in the 40s. Still does drop, though. It's not a perfect 60, as you can plainly see. You can see it still drops down 57, 58, but this is much better. Though I do wish we could have grass. Grass just kills your FPS a lot on these weaker systems. I think that's more for the mid-range and up kind of stuff, not entry-level and low-end stuff like this. Which is funny in a low-end thing, since just because of its portability is $1,000. Though I'm surprised they haven't increased the price of this up to like $1,500 or something yet. So I bet you it's a coming. So I probably shouldn't do that. Luckily I already have it, but that fucking sucks for everybody else who wants one. Oh, what are we supposed to do today? Break the television, kill a roach, steal an RC car. I found that once, but I tried to get in it and it was like stuck under a chair, so I couldn't have any fun in it. It was kind of lame. I was all excited to drive it, but nope. I love how this guy's like sewer just goes right out into his yard. There's just like a bunch of shit everywhere. Maybe you can't climb that window because this is here. That's fine, we can just travel in. Yeah, I guess not. We're stuck in here. Oh well, that's okay. All we have to do, just flush ourselves back out. We're just in a big old pile of shit. Which is no fun. This is AC. Well, breaking the TV should be pretty easy. I just gotta throw something hard at it, I imagine, or push it over maybe. I don't know how we're supposed to get this guy out of his hut. There's gotta be a trick to it. Probably just gotta entice him with something, I betcha. Alright, let's see. Is this a little bit better one to get in, maybe? Maybe. Oh, don't do that. Okay. That's a little weird. I don't think I've gotten the hang of. There we go, yeah. There we are, alright. Probably that one thing should make it a little harder for him to hear me. Because he'll probably just think it's the Roomba making noise, you'd think. Roomba looks like it'll kill the shit out of me. It looks like a death Roomba. You stay over there. Oh, is the front door even open? That's very rare. Well, he sure gives up fast. Figured with all the chairs here, it'd make it hard for me to grab me. We gotta watch out for that, though. Anyway, I think that's more than good. Let's wrap up. Well, alright guys, that is a wrap for Burglin Gnomes on the Asus Allies. And it's still not the greatest experience on the Allies, but at least it keeps you over 30 if you're willing to put everything on low and get rid of the grass and make the game look like even worse than it already does. It's not exactly a looker to begin with, which is why I figured it would run alright on these, but this is one of those perfect examples. Just because the game looks easy to run does not necessarily mean it will be. And it sucks too, because it seems like it's a very fun game, especially to play with your friends. It's a little boring by yourself, if I'm honest, but with friends or other people to play with, I think it'd be very, very fun. Either way, that's all for the video, so I hope you guys enjoyed the video, because I sure as hell enjoyed making it for you guys. And I'd do a peace out with that hand, but that pinky does not sit right with me yet, so until it does, and if it ever does, and if it never does fix, we've still got a left hand. So left-handed peace out, and until the next video.